I don't know about you guys, but every time I hear the name Arken Optics, I think it's from a Batman movie. And if you think the same thing, hit that subscribe button. But today we're taking a look at the Arken EP8. This is a 1/8 by 28 LPVO made by Arken Optics. The scope is very well built. It's about 1.5 pounds with the scope and the mount. I did get the Arken mount. It is their rigid light scope mount, and it does look to be milled as opposed to a cast unit. It is a cantilevered mount, and I will say, if the way this is made, if I had to go back any farther on this rail, which I've already ran out of rail here, I would have had to have turned around the mount to get proper eye relief. Now this is the M1A Springfield. It is the SOCOM 16 CQB. I did have the standard SOCOM stock on it, and the chin weld that I had, because it was not a cheek weld, was like this. It was either my first chin or my second chin. It was the first or second double chin. That's the kind of, chin weld that I got, and it wasn't very good. So I'll put this on here, and it's got a riser that really helps with a really good cheek weld. The reticle that this has is called the Killbox reticle, and it is a first focal plane scope. Now, when I first seen this, my only other LPVOs that I've owned were a Strike Eagle, which I still have 2 of those, and a PST Viper Gen 2, and that was pretty good. But the eye relief on this is head and shoulders above both of those optics. This one here is just, like, you can see back here, you can see up here. I mean, you can get, back and forth on it. You don't have to be like glued in that perfect spot to see it. And when you zoom it out, like, it doesn't, like, all I see is the outside ring here, and I don't have to really search too hard for the spot where my head needs to sit at on this stock. It is an illuminated reticle. It does have night vision settings. The red on the illuminated reticle is super bright during the day. It does have a few night vision settings. It has NV1 and NV2, and that is for your night vision. I have looked at this through the cheap night vision that I have, the digital, and it does seem to work very well on that without being overpowering on the night vision. And one thing I will say about this is, like with most LPVOs, you don't see the front of the gun. When I'm looking through this, I see the front sight, which is pretty incredible. It is able to pick that up since it's above the front sight, which this gun is unloaded and unchambered. And I know somebody's going to see this and be like, your scope's not mounted right. And you're probably right, because I have a little more gap over here than I have on the other side. I do need to fix that, but I did take it out and sight it in. I was excited to shoot it, and I was shooting it at 200 yards. I sighted it at 100 yards, and I was able to ring steel at 200. The group that I got out of this with my 168 grain Hornady reloads was about 1 inch, which is pretty impressive. I was very happy to see those groups. I'm going to show a 5-shot group, and it looks like 4 holes. Either I pulled really, really bad on one shot, or one round went through the same hole, because I'm pretty sure that there's a larger hole on the target, and I think it was hit twice. Now, I was shooting this off of bags on a rest, so that's why I was able to get those type of groups. My hands shake, and there's no way in hell I could hold it that still from my shoulder and just hold it and get that kind of shot group. Now, the reticle on this, I've seen other people talk about, and it looks a lot like an Aztec symbol. But on one power, you see a ring, and you see a dot in the center. Now, if you zoom it out, the dot in the center becomes a horseshoe, and then it's got your hieroglyphics below it, and it goes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's I'm guessing the very top one is 200 yards, but I was able to hold toward the top of the steel that I was shooting at, and I was still hitting it at 200 yards. Now, the EP8 did come with some flip it covers. Didn't really care for those much. They don't sit on the scope very well, so I'm just going to run it without it. It's not like I'm out dragging this through gravel and stuff. It's basically just a bench rest gun, and if, you know, feces did hit the fan, I'm not sure if an M1A would be what I grabbed for self-preservation. It'd probably be more like my Tavor or a Galil or something like that. Something else I have in my arsenal, because the M1A doesn't have the best track record. I did get some pretty good footage through the through my Sony. I have the I think it's the ZV-E10 or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but I was able to mount it on the gun and get really good footage through the scope, and I will roll that in as I'm talking because nobody wants to look at me that long. And I keep moving this back and forth like I'm trying to row a boat. But yeah, so far I am extremely satisfied with this scope. I mean, it is very well built. The scope mount is very well built. It holds zero. Like, I haven't done any drop tests, and I really don't want to. There's other guys that beat the shit out of their equipment, and there's some stuff that I will beat up, but I mean, this is with the scope and the gun. It's, you know, it's like a $2,400 gun. I'm not going to take it out and beat the piss out of it. I don't have that kind of money. Now, I do plan on putting a different mount up front so I can put a suppressor on this, because this would be devastating on hogs and coyote and whatever other varmints are out there. But as far as would I recommend this to somebody, I definitely would. I do trust this optic more than I trust the gun that it's on. Like I say, I have a love-hate relationship with this gun. I really, really like it, and I want to love it. And honestly, it hasn't had any malfunctions yet, but the track record on these is just not that great. I do plan on putting a lot more rounds to it to see if it's something that I do even want to keep. But the scope is a keeper. It's definitely a keeper. I will probably get another one for my 4570 Henry that I have up there, and I've got a suppressor just for it, and that'll be a nice deer rifle or anything else you want, really. And with that 1-8 scope on it, you should be able to reach out and touch pretty good anything that's, you know, an intermediate cartridge. It does come with a screw-in throw lever, and I've got that Loctited just to hold that in place, that way I don't lose it. I use blue Loctite in case I ever want to get it back out. I don't want to put heat on a scope. It does take a standard CR2023 battery, and it is on this side. You just take this cap off and your battery is in there. It does have protected turrets, so you gotta unscrew your cap. There's your turret adjustments for your windage and your elevation. Put the cap back on it and you're ready to rock. You're not going to take a chance of bumping it and messing up your zero on your scope. But if you got any questions about this that I didn't cover, ask me and I might know, and if not, then I'll look it up and try to get back with you. But if you got anything out of this video, please like and subscribe. That would help this channel out a lot. And as always, thanks for watching, stay safe, and let's take back our Second Amendment.